Olá, meus amigos do Espaço Mwangolé na 𝗀𝗄𝗀 TV. Aqui vamos continuar a refletir sobre o Black History Month. E esta semana, nossa convidada é a atriz, a líder comunitária e jornalista 𝗀𝗺Sharma MacDonald, aqui na nossa estação.
Hola! Hi, my name is 𝗀𝗺 Sharma MacDonald and I am an actor, filmmaker, and multimedia journalist. Being Black in Canada, I feel very fortunate to have been born and raised here, especially compared to other parts in the world that are much less stable than we are. And, you know, the only thing is I cannot deny the fact that racism does exist here as well. You know, it's just that it's not as prevalent or it's more hidden compared to, let's say, for example, the States. And what I do appreciate about Canada, though, is that we are a mosaic and we really try to incorporate other cultures and learn about other cultures. I mean, I love the fact that I can walk down the street and, you know, it's, you know, a little Portugal or a little Italy or a little Jamaica, or there's great Asian shops and restaurants to eat at. And I'm proud of the fact that, especially in Toronto, that we continue to be, you know, on the top of the list numerous times of, you know, the most diverse city on the planet. And I think that's something to be proud of. So overall, my experience being Black in Canada has been a positive one. But that's also because, you know, I'm from the Greater Toronto area, right? I really, you know, I know there are other parts of Canada where people have never seen anyone who looks like me, right? So I can't deny that as well. But, you know, like I said, overall, I'm proud to be Canadian. Black History Month is a time of reflection. It is a time to show people of all races and all ages the contributions that Black people have made to society, because, you know, it's not talked about in the media the other 11 months out of the year, right? We never hear about it. So Black History Month is so important, and there are a lot of devices that have changed our lives today that have been made by Black inventors, you know. And for example, the 3-light traffic light, the home security system, the central heating furnace, modern elevator, the automatic elevator doors. Like, there's just so many inventions that people are not aware of. And this is the time where people need to learn, you know, and people need to understand just how important and how vital Black people are to society and the progression of society. And as Canadians, you know, I feel like we really don't understand our Black history. For example, many Canadians are not aware of Africville, which is an African Canadian village just north of Halifax. And, you know, a lot of their settlers came from Black loyalists and formerly enslaved African Americans. And so, you know, they came to that part of Halifax for, you know, a quote unquote, you know, free life and free experience from being enslaved. And unfortunately, they were denied, they were denied basic services, such as running water. And, they were, their site was treated as an industrial site, and they were just never given a chance to grow. And through all of that, they had to fight for basic rights. And so we're so used to hearing that happen in the States, but that actually happened here in Canada as well. And, I'm not talking, it was just a few decades ago, right? So this is history that, people need to be aware of, and all Canadians need to be aware of. And that's why Black History Month is so important. The most inspiring moment in my life during Canadian Black History Month is actually twofold. Firstly, I would say that it was when I was younger, probably around elementary school age, and just being able to attend Black History Month events. And for example, I was born particularly in Markham. And so the Markham African Caribbean Association, for example, when they would have events, or other Black groups would have events, and I would attend, and that was my way of learning about my history and my culture, because I didn't learn about it in school. We didn't have that in our Canadian history books. Right? And so I'm so thankful that, my dad instilled that in me to, made sure that I went to those events, because it was a way for me to also be able to see, prominent Black Canadians, and even, see them in person. I'm talking about like Lincoln Alexander and the Honorable 𝗫𝗎𝗓. And, these are people that, I was just so privileged to be able to learn about, and to actually be able to feel a connection with them that I was not learning anywhere else. And so that was an inspiring moment for me. Another inspiring moment is, just recently being able to have my short film 2020 be shown in two notable Black film festivals. One being the Toronto Black Film Festival, and the other being Halifax Black Film Festival. Two cities that I just finished speaking about. So it was extra special for me, and it's just talking about all about Black culture, and yeah, those would be my inspiring moments. My thought on the short film 2020 is that it is the blueprint for the year 2020. I really feel like in many years to come, if someone wants to realize or recall what happened in 2020, they need to refer to this film. The film, it talks a lot about or showcases the pandemic of COVID-19, and also the struggle that Black people face in 2020. And it's all done through the eyes of a Black female psychologist. So that brings about a unique perspective. And so I really feel like the film was done in a very creative way, and we also incorporated even local artists. So that was the idea of the film's director, 𝗵𝗵𝗀, and him and I, connected and collaborated on this film in an interesting way. It was just when I started experiencing, the anxiety of being on lockdown, for example, and also just, hearing all about the brutality against, Ahmaud Arbery and Elijah McClain and Breonna Taylor, and, the list was endless. And then when the murder of George Floyd happened, I just didn't know how else to express myself other than through writing. And so that's when I really just started to write. There were a lot of tears. There was a lot of anger when I was writing. And afterwards, I kind of took a look at what I wrote, and I was like, hey, you know what? This might be cool for a film. But then I was like, you know what? I don't have energy right now for that. So I kind of tossed it aside. And ironically, the next day, AP called me and was like, hey, I really want to do something with everything that's going on. And, asked me for suggestions, or, maybe we can collaborate on something. And I was like, hey, you know what? I actually just wrote something. And so I sent it to him, and, that it began the birth of, this film, 2020. So as a co-writer and as a lead actor of the film, I am so pleased with the success thus far. Just, all the film festivals that it's been in, and also that it has won an award at the 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗀 Film Festival in New York. So, definitely something to be proud of. The short film 2020 is largely based on events in the United States, but we have similar issues here, just on a smaller scale, I would say. In the film, it's shown the relationship between the police and citizens, and that is exactly what is going on right now. That happens here. I've seen it happen. I have a lot of my Black male friends that I've spoken to over the years that tell me all the time that they are followed and stopped for no reason by police, especially if they're driving a really nice car. And so, that is that's something that a lot of us don't talk about, I feel, as Canadians. And so that I was so happy when people reached out to me after seeing my film and said, you know what, this really hit home for them, and they really didn't know how to convey what they were feeling. And so when they watched my film, they felt that they were being seen and they were being heard. And they said, the short film brought satisfaction to them. And that, for me as an artist, that's that's just the cherry on top. Like, I love hearing that my work inspires others. Mental health care for the Black community is extremely important. I feel like it's not really talked about. I feel like the discussion surrounding mental health, people equate that with weakness, and I really feel that, especially in the Black community, it's dating back to slavery, right? Where there was really no time to be feeling hurt. You were constantly spending all your time trying to fight to survive. And I feel like 2020 just became such an exhausting point for all Black people, because I feel like it brought up just so many, past memories, past hurts, past microaggressions. And, maybe people didn't even think that they were being, racially targeted. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, actually I was. Like, a lot of new experiences, a lot of new insight. And so 2020, I think, became a year of change for Black people, and shifting from that perspective of not wanting to talk about or not wanting to discuss mental health to having to have that conversation, having to discuss mental health. And so I know firsthand, for me, I'm from a Black household, and especially a Black Caribbean household, and our parents, they don't understand all this talk about, mental health and all the hype over mental health. And, it was just I recently had to make sure to have that conversation, because we do need to break the cycle. We need to break the stigma surrounding it, or else we're never gonna get to move forward. And I think that's what's been lacking in a lot of the Black households, is that need for communication, and the need to let our guard down, and the need to listen to each other and take each other seriously when we talk about how we're feeling and our mental health. What motivates me is surrounding myself with family and friends, people who encourage me and genuinely take an interest in my journey. I also get great motivation and inspiration from aligning myself with fellow artists and learning from them as well, and collaborating and listening and sharing. And also, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I read a lot as well. I read as much as I can. But yeah, those are basically the factors that motivate me and keep me going. Yeah, with so many titles, the order that I would describe myself in is, first and foremost, being an actor. And being an actor is important to me, and I would follow that up by any aspect of filmmaking. I love screenwriting, I love directing, I love shooting, and also, I guess the icing on the cake would be my experience with multi-platform journalism. I have a certificate in multimedia journalism from Seneca College. Yay! Shout out to Seneca. And through that, I've gotten many opportunities, and I just love covering events and interviewing people, and that's what I love to do. I love anything that partners my love for art and the community, because for me, community is so important, and community is my umbrella. Like, everything fits under there. So I recently came across another term called community builder. So I actually kind of like it. So I think I might add that to my title. But basically, I do a lot of volunteer work in the community, volunteer work in my church, and my motto in life is love, live, and give.
E assim, foi a conversa com 𝗀𝗵𝗻 MacDonald, Black History Month, também parte da história do Canadá.